Oh, hello. Welcome to Unheard, Music from the Highlands, a special series celebrating original music from the Highlands of Scotland. I'm Siobhan Neelan, and along with Ellis McFadgen, over the course of this series, we'll be meeting the artists who are forging their own path in the music industry. Far from the usual scenes, but no less powerful in their sound and vision. From lockside bedrooms to village halls turned studios, these are the stories of musicians creating on the edge, pushing boundaries, blending influences, and staying true to their roots. This series is about more than just music. It's about place, perseverance, and the voices rising from the hills. This is Unheard. Let's get straight into it here. Hello, Moteh Parrot.
Hi.
Indeed. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. It's
Welcome along.
my first podcast.
First
ever.
Exciting.
I listened to lots,
I know.
but I've never done one.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
This might be seriously disappointing for you.
Absolutely not. This is beyond my wildest dreams.
Yeah, and the studios up and beyond. Really. What do you call in the studios, Ellis?
No, my den, I suppose.
Yeah, your den. Yeah.
It's a beautiful den.
Yeah.
Up the hills, as far as we can get.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. It's smashing to have you here. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll just want to have a wee blether about your influences on music and what's influenced you in the Highlands and things like that. So yeah, just rattle on with whatever comes to mind, and
Yeah.
we'll give you a few points.
Oh, we'll
Great.
start kicking you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's just separate. But yeah, no. So we were just saying there before we started recording that I had first met you, Moteh, probably in 2016 or 2017, and it was the singer-songwriter circle at McGregor's.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. I was kind of like, oh my God, everyone's so talented. And so yourself and Nikki were there. And I think just the two of you guys, I'm sure there was extra, people there as well. But you guys were the people that stood out for me, and I remember really well. So from that point of 2017, where did you go? Because you were living up here at that time, weren't you?
Yeah. I'd recently, my old band Red Kites, who got together in music college in 2010 or 11, I moved down there to do a music degree. And
Was that in Glasgow or Edinburgh?
that was actually in Guildford, just southwest of London.
Oh,
so
nice.
there's a music college called the Academy of Contemporary Music.
Yeah.
And they do guitar diploma, whatever instrument you want to do. It's like popular music focused. So
Okay.
a lot of folk that go on to do the degree are going to be like session players and jazzers and things. But if I'm completely honest, the only reason I really stayed on was because I had a band that I was just really that was where my heart was, and I was just like, I'll do the degree because otherwise I'm gonna have to get a job. But I was like,
Perfect excuse.
but I was playing. It was obviously having the degree is obviously useful, but yeah, it was kind of something to keep me there and see the band through, and I stayed there for a couple of years after the course finished. But then, the band inevitably ended.
That's
And
good. They went their separate ways. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was missing the hills, so I came
that's
back up
good.
to Inverness, and
Yeah.
I stayed with mum and dad for a wee while. Can't really, about a year maybe I was staying with mum and dad, and that was 2016, I think that was.
Yeah.
And then I met my partner Melody, and we lived in her flat in Inverness. So that was when I
nice.
started to come to the. I only went once or twice, I think.
Okay,
to the
well,
singer,
same. I hadn't
songwriter
gone very
group.
often. Yeah.
But yeah, weird kind of coincidence about how I know Nikki Murray, who was who ran the group, was like my the keyboard player in my current band. Was putting on events down in Edinburgh, and had asked Nikki Murray if he wanted to play one of her nights.
Yes.
And he said, I can, but then recommended me for it. So that's how I got to know Sarah, who's now the keyboard player in my band.
She's great. Yeah.
So she's absolutely amazing. So I kind of know Nikki through Sarah, but through a weird kind of online
That's so cool.
messaging about trying to get gigs and stuff. But Yeah, Nikki's great.
Yeah, Nikki is great. Yeah, and so those who are listening, Nikki Murray is who we're speaking about, and hopefully we can have him along to speak to us as well. That would be great.
Indeed.
You know, yeah. So in that time, so you obviously were writing a lot of music before I came across you in 2017. And had you, so where did that all start? Did that all start in your teens, or where were you building it?
I guess like I always loved music, and my mum and dad were amazing at exposing me and my brother and sisters to it really early on. And I was into some really kind of odd music, I guess, as like a 5-year-old. My mum and dad had these like old like Tom Waits cassettes that used like proper cassettes that were in the van stereo. And I remember like listening to like old Tom Waits songs, and then they had like a record player that they just let me and Lawrence, my brother, just play with, essentially. Like, let us like put on all the vinyls, and we just got absolutely obsessed with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band when we were, I maybe was, I don't know, 8, something like that, 10, would be, or even earlier. I would have been quite little, I think. But we were obsessed with the album, and we were always listening to albums.
Yes.
Because that was how we listened to music, of course. That's just how it was.
We all did that, didn't we?
Which is quite a different experience. I think, like, as a child, being able to appreciate, like, an album is, like, it's quite a special thing, well. I think.
It's all changed now, isn't it, with the single, and that's it. You can listen to anything, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
We used to gather around the fire and put LPs on, and we'd listen to an LP end to end, and we'd all sit and discuss it and have a drink. And that's what you did then, but it's all changed now.
Well, it's quite a different experience, and it actually takes a little bit of almost like self-discipline. If you're somebody who, if you know you're somebody who enjoys albums, but it's just like constantly flicking through Spotify because it's the easy thing to do. Yeah. It actually takes a wee bit of self-discipline almost, I think, to put on an album and just be like, I'm going to listen to this album because that's how it was intended to be listened to.
Well, yeah, and to tolerate maybe the slower songs, if you're not, it takes you out of your mood. An album will force you to feel the flow.
Yes.
Rather than being like, well, no, I just want something really jazzy.
Yeah. And maybe there's a lot more music playing into that now, of like trying to create like an overall vibe as like a kind of something that doesn't take you to too many different contrasting places emotionally or something. Just I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's very samey, some of the music, but that could be a whole other discussion. That could.
Well, I guess it's always been that way to an extent with different genres and different artists. But
I understand you were shortlisted for BBC Radio Scotland Songwriter of the Year too.
Yeah, that was
when was that now?
2019. That was amazing to been chosen for that. It's something that you signed up for. Yeah, saw it advertised, and went for it, and I was delighted to have been shortlisted for it. So it was amazing going to the BBC buildings and doing like a wee session for it, and that was great. It's nice to have something to, just have a little tagline, I guess.
It's an accolade, but it's well deserved because, what I've found about, having heard you performed and listening to your songs and then looking at the lyrics, there's an amazing picture painting ability you have with your lyrics. And I'm always in awe of people. I mean, this is an old self-discovery journey through the podcast, as well as figuring out how people write songs. Because I was saying that even to Murray, who's sitting here next to us. He's been very quiet. Just to have all the earthen pictures that you bring, and everything it's just fantastic, Moteh. So, like, how did you start to discover your talent in that? Because it's great to have a BBC songwriter, shortlisting. That's great, but you had to get to that. That's not something anybody can do simply. So,
well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But I think like I've got a lot to thank my mum for when it comes to lyric writing. I mean, I really struggle with lyrics. I find sometimes they kind of happen easily, but more often it's a really painstaking process. But my mum was a fantastic poet.
Wow.
She was never she was published in a few small publications, but she didn't, push it out there as much as I feel like it could have been recognized. It was absolutely beautiful. She really had a way of distilling language down into really pure. I sometimes think of poetry as being like the spirit. If you were talking about it in terms of like alcohol, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, though.
Novels or like beer or whatever, and then it's like a way of like distilling down the language to like its most like
potent.
Yes, yeah, and she had just an incredible way with words, and just incredibly observational. She wrote kind of long form stuff as well in journals and things, which we knew she had, but we found after she died a few years ago, and she'll just spend several pages writing down just exactly how a caterpillar's moving on a branch, or it's in incredible detail and just really poetically and beautifully. And she just had that. She was an incredibly thoughtful person, and very deeply spiritual, and thought a lot. And I actually think that she introduced me to a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't read tons of poetry myself, but obviously I listen to a lot of music and love songwriters. But I think my mum's kind of my biggest influence, really, when it comes to
sounds like
language.
That's amazing, because I know that at the session where I was fortunate enough to see you play, which was the best setting ever for your music, which is out in the forest in Aegis, and
you were there too,
which
was great.
Yeah, but
you both were there.
We were both there, yeah. But it was just this, the giant trees and the way they were flowing, and then that beautiful poem your mum was reciting, and the music that you put to that poem.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
It was absolutely I'll never forget that for as long as I live. And I think that being able to even have reimagined what she was painting in her poetry that time, and then putting music to it, which is another skill again on top of the skill of writing, so I could understand why you're saying she'd be the most influential in that sense. But I think when I'm listening to your lyrics and how you're putting them together, because they're so descriptive, just one line can tell a million bits of the story. And that makes me think of the likes of Leonard Cohen and Bob Dylan, and how they use words are so loaded and stuff. So I mean, I think that's where you got to that accolade. That's we must pay tribute to that. And is there? Sorry, Ellis, do you want to come in?
Just thinking all these your degree and whatever, and your songwriting accolades, that must all sort of be a nice to have behind you, but give you a strength and an impetus moving on, thinking, well, got this credibility. Whereas a lot of people starting in the business would be, can I do this? Am I good enough to do this? How do I go about doing it? And hearing how you do this, and you push for, certainly for being in the songwriter thing, you had to see me, hear me. You have to do that to a certain extent. It's not just a talent, but that was a good spur you on, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely, in terms of like employment and stuff, there's definitely been a few jobs that having that has helped, just as a self-employed community musician, or that's been fantastic. And it's obviously important, I think, for any songwriter who's trying to do it with any degree of trying to make it do it as much as possible, and to try and make it work, and financially and all of those things. It's definitely nice to have those things.
Yeah, it just gives a kind of more a professional image as well. You're in it. It's your life. You're part of it all.
Yeah, I never really questioned that was what I was gonna do. Other than a short couple of years doing an ecology degree, because I thought I should get a proper job. Ironically, I think probably getting a job in ecology is equally as difficult, as, if not more so than than music. But
but again, it's based on passions, though, because again, you know, like you can see that with the like the songwriting and the songs that you're producing, they're the gentle kind of, as I say, the flow. It makes sense that you go into ecology. You know, you have to love nature.
Yeah, well, that's what my mum and dad did, so I didn't know what else to do. Right. So they were they set up a rainforest conservation project in Cameroon in the 80s, and I was born there in 1989. So so I grew up with conservationist parents, and then when we moved back to the UK, my mum got a job with the John Muir Trust in
fantastic.
in Scotland. We moved up to Loch Carron, rented a place over in Loch Carron, and then they found our family home south side of Loch Ness. But yeah, I've always grown up with having that and the importance of preserving what we have left of the natural world, and trying to increase it and increase awareness of it and what we're doing to the planet, I think humans have the potential to make the world a more beautiful place rather than a degraded place, and I think that should be what we're aiming for. But yeah, it's always been probably the biggest inspiration behind any of my music has been environmental or purely because of my upbringing, I think. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And is that what Seven Generations, one of your tunes we're going to showcase today, is that the gist of that? Because that's what I was picking up from that song. Yeah.
So there's a beautiful place called Embercombe, which is it's like a really big organic farm place. It's not really a farm, it's like a self-sustaining community, I guess. But they do like retreats and things, and the guy that set it up is I don't know how he came to be in the UK, but I think he is North American chief. I think he went through the process of becoming a chief, or being recognized as what I'm probably misremembering that, but I went anyway. It's a difficult time in my life, kind of as my last band was breaking up. I went on like a wee retreat to this place and learned some interesting things. One of the things I learned was Native American tradition, which says that basically when they were making political decisions that would affect future generations, they couldn't make any decision that would negatively impact generations to come.
Yes,
so it was just like no political decision could go through if it impacted. And if you imagine the implications of bringing in something like that to modern day politics, you wonder how many decisions would pass. And I just think that's just a really beautiful fundamental principle for how to run our politics and things. And it seems absurd that we do it any other way.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So yeah, that's where the idea for that song came from.
Maybe we should just play that song now.
Atoms lay held
Great.
Someday that they may burst to life. find a key. In this sea of sight we breathe, it may try to drag you down. So feed your fires to stay happy. 7 generations on, God only knows if they'll be holding on. If we could but take
7 generations. Thanks very much for that, Moteh. That was grand. Now, just a few more questions to ask you here, and I'm sure you'll rattle on. We're talking about your current band. I just love the sound of your band. How did you manage to get such wonderful musicians together? And
Well, again, it was a bit of a coincidence in a weird way. Like at the same time, that my old band broke up, I came north, and just so happened at the same time, Kathy, the cellist,
Oh yeah,
her band in Revere, a London-based band, who the drummer was also in. That broke up at the same time, and they moved up. And they bought a little old cottage in Everton and started doing that up. So they had already moved up, and how I know Kathy is my old English teacher at school, who never actually taught me. She's like sometimes like would sub if there was a teacher off or whatever. So I did know her, but I think she taught my brother at Inverness Royal Academy, and we got to know Frances, Kathy's mum, and when I moved up, she said, "Oh, Kathy's here too. You guys should. I'd love to hear you guys play together." So, got together in Everton with Mark and Kathy, the drummer and cellist, and just started jamming these songs that had kind of been intended for my old band, but they just needed a new lease of life. So,
wow.
and we kind of immediately clicked. They were fantastic players and professional musicians, and Mark's amazing to have because he's a sound engineer, and he really knows what he's doing. So we're going to be self-recording some stuff, I think, because they've got the know-how. So it's just amazingly fortunate to have met them when I did. And then we were playing as a 3-piece a wee bit, but then we got Blair in on the bass pretty soon. And then just recently for the latest tour we did, we got Sarah on keys as well. So it was kind of nice to have the feeling of someone else deciding what instruments were going to go together, because I love the cello, but I would have probably just started up another guitar band. So it was really actually quite nice to have that choice of like what it was going to look like almost taken away. I'm like, okay, well the cello is going to be a focus of this, and I feel like it really it goes with it. So I think Kathy's mum knew that it would probably work, so
it almost enhances your entire sound, as in, because if it was just a guitar band, I don't know, would it have showcased those words and that meaning, get to the soul of what you're putting across. So,
one of these kind of nice accidents, so I suppose. It happened, it wasn't intended, didn't set out to bring a cello in, but with it happening, it works. Just an extra dimension.
I think the cello has that amazing soulful sound, and I think with like a lot of the emotions in the songs, it really has a way of like rinsing the emotion out of the song.
That is true.
And I think of it as being quite kind of cello focused. Like I like the cello loud. I almost consider it as like the vocal and the cello kind of almost at the same kind of level, and almost like
I see it like a kind of an equal companion within the song itself.
Because it's very vocal as well. The cello, it's got a real
you're right.
vocal
Isn't
quality.
that somebody said that the cello was closest in range to the the human voice.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I've heard that as well. I've also heard that about the saxophone as well, in terms of
Yeah.
like the timbre of the sound, I guess would be I think that's the word.
I'm not going to contradict you.
I think
That'll work.
learned that in higher music, I think.
Not in Guildford.
not in Guildford.
That's so funny. But I was going to just check because of that happy accident of having Kathy and Mark. Did it give you a bigger spectrum of thinking around music then? Do you think before that, if you look back, that you might have been a bit more closed about what you were willing to do with your songs before they started jamming?
Maybe. I think I was probably feeling quite protective over my music at that particular time, just because, like, written all these songs, like, for my old band, Red Kites, and that was, to be honest, I just got, as long as the players were great, I wasn't really fussed about what they were into. So we had like a metal shredder guitar player, someone who was really into like hardcore like stuff, and really like heavy rock music, a lot of like Biffy Clyro and Ruben and Manchester Orchestra, and a lot heavier stuff as well. But and then bass player, the last bass player we had who was in the band for the longest was really into soul music, then our keys player was really into like indie. So we all had completely different
sounds like the
musical
Commitments.
tastes.
Have you ever watched the
And to be honest, I think that was what made it such a fun band to be in, because I was writing these kind of like indie folk songs, and then they just went to town on it and made it something completely that I wouldn't have imagined. That's so like, I think the most exciting thing about playing with other musicians who are into different things, and I think that is something that can really push the boundaries of what the music actually is and take it outside of genres. And I think compared actually to my last band, the band that I have at the moment is quite it plays for the song in a way that I feel like my last band probably didn't, because we were young and really excitable and we just went crazy with it, and just whereas this band, I feel like I guess it's the maturity of growing up and actually really trying to serve the song for
exactly,
and make what it is as good as it can be, rather than it being too random. If that
as
makes
you're
sense.
describing it, I don't know. Did you ever watch The Commitments, the music movie? It's an Irish movie.
Yes, I think I have.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I feel like I watched that on a plane one time.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Did you ever watch it?
I did indeed.
And and it's that exact thing of everyone's so enthusiastic about coming together, and someone has a vision, but then none of them are actually fully bought into all of this.
Right.
It's great. So that was the parody.
I noticed that you play a number of instruments yourself. What do you play, Moteh?
So I mainly play guitar, but I mean, if it's got strings, I'll have a go. As long as it's not a fiddle or something with frets and strings. I'd have a go at the fretless bass, but I wouldn't be able to claim that I'd play it. But I play a little bit of piano, a bit of drums, but not very well at all. Ukulele, I'll have a go at. It would take me a while to figure out the banjo, but I'd have a little tune in a few hours. But
yeah,
well, this one's not so bad. It's a 6-string. It's tuned to the guitar.
Right.
So
that's ideal.
Dead sheet.
Yeah,
that is exactly what you need.
Banjo sound with doing what you know.
Yeah.
I know.
To be honest, I think one of the biggest things I find inspiring is putting the guitar in different tunings and seeing what happens, which is almost the same as picking up a new instrument. If it's a fretted stringed instrument, it's kind of the same concept, and that is what I find exciting, to be exploring something that I'm not familiar with. I think is a really lovely way to be creative, because if you've written songs in the same way forever using the same chord shapes, eventually that's going to start to feel stale, and you're going to need, or at least I need, something
Indeed,
something to put me on a different footing. And I feel like something more exciting happens for me when I
Exactly.
do something like that. So,
Yeah.
having said that, I'm stuck in dadgad tuning, and I have for several years.
Have you tried,
I've never explored it fully yet. So
have you tried
need to.
the dadgad cut-off capos?
Oh, I feel like I've heard about this.
One of those.
Ah,
Ellis is showing Moteh his
that's handy.
a
It's
tiny
absolutely
little
brilliant. You stick
capo.
your guitar
Okay.
in standard tuning, you slap that on at 2 or 4, and
Right,
then you just play it as normal chords, or you can make chord shapes up to suit it.
right.
And the sound is lovely.
Oh, that's
It
cool.
is really good.
I need to hear you.
So that's the standard tuning.
Need
You
to
put that
use
on
that.
standard
Yeah.
tuning rather than Dagdad.
Oh, nice one.
Okay.
That's a
So if you're,
didn't
do-
realise
if
that.
you're gigging, you're dotting between songs, and some are in standard
Mhm.
and not. It's so quick and easy to slap that on,
yeah,
and away you go.
yeah. Oh, cool. Nice one.
Well, now
That
you
sounds
heard it
great.
here first.
Yeah, no, you play, is it a Telecaster you play on?
Usually, yeah. For Bellodrum, because I take ages with the tunings, in between, we've got some horrible tunings throughout the set, so we're treating ourselves to a guitar tech for the
Oh,
so you
nice.
can
Quite right.
get the guitars in tune and swap them in and out.
Indeed.
Because there's just long, awkward side. We try to build the set so that the tuning doesn't get in the way too much, but it's still, and because I'm like very particular about it, and my guitar pedal has this really annoying function on it. I basically need a new guitar tuner, but it takes me ages to tune.
But when you do actually get it tuned, it sounds lovely. You play Telecaster on one of your other songs, the Song for the Insects.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
Oh,
It's lovely that.
thanks.
Maybe we should hear a wee bit of that one as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, lovely.
Yeah, shall we play that one?
Well,
then?
I'll put that on there now.
Remember when, in summertime, the fronts of cars were insect strewn? Now a lucky find is 1 or 2. On country roads and clear nights, clouds of moths caught in the lights, or a downhill mouthful on my bike. How long will it take for us to promise, and how much will be at stake before you notice the empty air, the silent trees, the loss of vibrant, quivering everything. It should mean everything to us. How long will it take for us to promise? And how much will be at stake before you notice? You notice. A tiny thing, these tiny beings, these tiny little happenings, our future rests upon their wings.
Thanks, Marty. That was lovely. So just you'd mentioned Bellodrum there. So you're opening the Hot House stage on Friday. The first of
Yeah.
August. Woohoo!
Yeah, really excited. Yeah, so we're on at 12:30.
Yeah.
Not that that's relevant because this is going out afterwards.
After, yeah.
Yeah, can't wait. So that'll be. We opened the main stage, which was the garden stage with
Yeah.
no band in like 2012, which was
Oh,
I think
right.
probably the biggest stage I'd played on, or any of us played on. And this year we're playing the Hot House stage, which is slightly larger. So
bigger again,
so
yeah.
that'll be the biggest stage that I've played.
Wow.
I think possibly the rest of the band as well. But yeah.
Did
very
you manage to
exciting.
fit in other festivals over this festival season?
No, to be honest, I've been really lazy with booking things. Well, I really struggle with the it's one of these things you send tons of applications and sometimes get something back, one in 50 or one in more than that maybe. So it can be a little bit of a jading experience, I think, applying for festivals. So we're kind of, I'm thinking about the touring thing a wee bit differently now, and I think we're gonna do a lot more remote community gigs, and there's a organization called the Touring Network that links up remote promoters and village halls and remote communities and things, and basically links up artists with all these promoters in like the Outer Hebrides and all over the shop. So and a lot of them are funded venues or like have funding. So it's the artists get paid fairly, and it's you get to travel to really cool remote places and play to a community that often it's the thing that's on and people come down for it, and it's so yeah, we're gonna do a bit more of that kind of gigging, I think. But my main focus was booking the tour we did in April, which was just a handful of dates, but organizing it all myself, so it was quite a lot. And then just balancing everything with work and
I think the social media side of things takes up a lot of time now for artists, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you really have to be good at that, or have somebody with you who is good at that.
And I can get on a bit of a roll with it, but then I find I need a complete detox, and I just delete the apps, and I just can't. I can't. I think for me, it's been recently about having the right balance with it. How much of the stuff I don't enjoy, the social media, the all of that stuff, am I gonna do before it becomes actually detrimental to the overall enjoyment of the band and my music as a project? And like how much of that, where's the line of like how much of that stuff
you need to keep your audience engaged and respond to the requirements of your audience, your followers at the same time, but not drown yourself in it. So.
Yes, absolutely. You want to make sure you've done enough of the kind of businessy side of stuff that I struggle personally with. I think because of ADHD or whatever, but I really struggle with the organizational aspects of it.
Well, that kind of consistency, because it's almost, it does have to be so consistent. If you want to keep your name out there, and then that is the work that becomes that cumbersome work heavy thing.
That kind of flies in the face of the creative spirit, I suppose. Totally. You just want to be writing and playing and
and it's one of these things. Whenever I get onto this conversation, I'm just like, we could just have a right old moan about it, but I like for me it's kind of about like accepting that that's the way it is. There's not like a manager for every grassroots musician out there, and they're not, they don't have 20% of nothing. So
you'd have to hire. I mean, I was looking at this before, because I'd really gotta get up and go. I'm going to really put time and effort and even put money where my mouth is here. And so I approached managers as well and thought maybe somebody could do that. And then it's like, no. And I went, oh, right. So do I get a social media manager then? Do I pay somebody to do all of that? And that didn't seem wise. But I like, go back to your thing of going out to the local communities. I think that is the way forward. I think that, local communities want to hear live music. And so have you found that when you did your small tour? Well, small tour, it was, you went in Glasgow and then you were up the road here, weren't you? So it wasn't small.
So we were in Errigy, so Stratherick Village Hall, which is tiny wee village hall south side of Loch Ness, and then we were in Inverness, upstairs in above the Gallons, and then we were down in Loch Allen Village Hall.
Oh wow, yeah.
In Morvern, and then we went over to Mull Theatre.
Oh wow.
And then we were in Glasgow at the Hug and Pint, and Edinburgh at Leith Depot.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it's an interesting. You never know what you're gonna get at any venue, but
Indeed, yeah.
generally, overall, I have found that you have had a larger, more appreciative audience in remote places.
Yeah.
And it feels more worth it, even if it was a longer drive.
Yes.
Rather than, I used to go up to London every few weekends with my old band for gigs, and we'd be, in the M25 traffic, and then you're playing Notting Hill Arts Club to like 3 people, or like you're in like an awful like pay to play kind of situation,
Right.
and it's just like, but that's the extreme because it's London, but it's but then we would go and play in Aberdyfi and like an old cinema in Wales, and there'd be tons of people there who they didn't know who we were, but they were out for it, So, and I think because I'm from a small community and grew up going to trad gigs and things in the local hall, it feels like home to me. So yeah, I think that's probably what we're gonna do going forward, but we're in a figuring out what's next. I'm currently on holiday, so I'm very much like my mind is completely vacant at the moment.
Turned off.
So this is switching my brain back on.
Yeah. Well, because again, with the curiosity of I've never toured, I've never done what you've done, Moteh. But to make it a viable thing, to make it a viable option in life, there has to be that old dirty word of money involved, and I often wonder how to sustain that, and is that something then that like the smaller community gigs and the village halls, that there is more of a sustainability? Are the overheads a little bit less, and you get the enjoyment back, but you also can earn a bit of money to kind of say that this is worthwhile, or are you really just feeding off the groups of people that come along are giving you as a performer what you want to, which is appreciation, really,
Yeah, well, I think often, I mean, funding is so important. I think generally in terms of venues, but I think particularly remote places, because it can end up costing more for artists to go to remote places, and which might be why artists don't tend to tour rurally.
Well, accommodation, for example.
And accommodation, sometimes accommodation is organised by the local promoter or the community, which kind of comes as part of it, and often you're treated really, really well, and you're given a meal, and because they're remote, I think often maybe hopefully a higher chance of getting the funding to keep those kind of things going. So, but obviously that relies on arts funding.
Yes, yeah.
Because if we as a 5-piece band touring with a sound engineer went over to Mull Theatre, and we maybe had 30 people there, but our fee was like, it covered all of our fuel, and I mean it was like 600 quid, which is like enough to cover us and give us a small fee for the day. But often it's a fraction of that if you're doing that in cities. But that's a funded venue, and obviously they maybe sold 30 tickets, but they weren't gonna make that money back. So it's the funding part of it is so important when it's relatively unknown or grassroots artists that are playing, even if we're professional musicians who are being paid for other work that they're doing. It's often, unless the funding is there for grassroots artists, it's not viable to expect to make the make the the return on
Yeah.
the on the fuel and everything. But
Absolutely.
and it's, I think, for the vast majority of grassroots artists, just doing it for the love of it,
Yeah.
really. But I think that funding is really important, particularly in the early stages of venues and grassroots artists. So
yeah, because I mean I would be speaking out from a much smaller scale, but I feel that we have a huge opportunity. We're bustling with talent up here in Highlands. You know, you're one of them. You're one of them, and you're saying, you know, Kathy and Mark are here. Ellis is this talented man from Argyll. We are, you know, so it kind of feels that Highlands is this wonderful place where we can showcase the talent as well, because we do have really cool small venues. But how has that actually been funneled through? And it would be great actually to find out from those who are in, who hold the key to funding applications or whatever else. What is the art to trying to get successful release of those funds? And in our first episode, myself and Ellis were speaking about the Nick Grimshaw and Annie Mack podcast. And Nick Grimshaw makes mention of one of his friends who's an artist who's had to stop touring because she just said that you just can't do it anymore. She's had to think of other ways of doing it. And we don't want that. We want to make sure that people can, you know, viably attend different venues and bring their music all over.
I think it's certainly achievable. I stayed 20 years in Gairloch, and there was lots of touring acts came and went. You know, there's some that made the effort to go out there, and they're always very much appreciated.
Yeah.
You know, so as you say, you get a bigger crowd there than you perhaps in upstairs, where there's so many pubs playing music round about that you're not going to get the same audience or feedback. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it would work. You know, just as you say, getting the funding mechanism right is
and definitely appreciation at a local level. You know, wherever you're going, you know, that there is an effort. I suppose this is important through this podcast, is to highlight there's such an amount of effort and work, the background behind your album, Moteh, what you've done, all of the work that has brought you to this point. It's not just that you're turning up, but it's...
Are we waiting for another album coming out soon?
Yeah, we have almost an album's worth of stuff arranged and kind of... it just needs recorded, so we're starting recording on a couple of singles at the moment. So yeah, we're working on that. We're just with everyone's jobs and things, just when can we fit in the getting the drum take down, and we're bouncing it back and forth between all of our home studios. So working on something. Great. Absolutely no idea when it'll be out yet, but I think the focus for me at the moment, rather than, you know, driving myself crazy trying to make sure I'm having a single coming out every month or whatever, you know, I think in order to kind of be successful in terms of really trying to make it a career, really you need to be keeping up with, you know, making sure you're out there all the time, you know, music coming out all the time, which I think me as a person, that's just not how how I do things or how I function, and I'm kind of okay with that. I think I'm just like, I would rather do something like right and do it slowly and at my own pace, and if I have fewer listeners listening to something that is of a much higher quality rather than something that is rushed and low quality with a high listenership, that's definitely the way around I would like to do it, because I'm doing it because I love it and because it's a creative project and something you really
don't want to destroy
really
the
want to
creativity.
do right. So yeah, I think it's about like trying actually not to take on too many of the roles, i.e. like musician, songwriter, manager, label, booking agent, like, you know, all of the different roles that you could do and could in themselves be a full-time job. It's like where are you going to put the effort and how much of it? And there are superhuman people out there who manage to do all of that by themselves and create a successful career out of it. At least like get to the point initially where they're, you know, turn down managers and labels and everything. I don't know how people do that. I'm not one of those people, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And so, like Alyssa said, I mean, you may have this new album coming up. Is there another song that you'd like us to play out then as a surprise to everybody that would come from this potentially new album? Is there something?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, Song for the Insects is one of those that will be on the next album, and then Make Peace with Yourself is another one which I wrote for my mum. So yeah, you can play that one.
Great, and we got to hear that at the Aegis session, didn't we?
Yes,
and that was beautiful. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Moteh. Inspired.
Oh,
you're a very inspirational guy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
you're very inspirational people too.
Oh,
it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so much, Moteh. Thanks, Ellis.
Yep, indeed. Thanks very much for that, Moteh and Siobhan. And we shall play out with this track and look forward to speaking to you again sometime.
Thanks so much for having
Thanks,
me.
Moteh.
Bye.
Born into a man-meddled mess in the 60s. Now I'm making up her bed and Newlands. We'll lay you down in a glacial sand dune. The more I dug, the more I saw the whole truth. You are the keenest edge of a universe unfolding. So make peace with yourself. You'll wake to find you're the heart of a constellation at peace with itself. So make peace with yourself.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Unheard, Music from the Highlands. If you enjoyed the music and stories today, be sure to check out the featured artist. You'll find links to their work in the show notes, along with more from the growing community of original musicians across the Highlands. For playlists, bonus content and updates on future episodes, head over to our website and don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep supporting local music and local music venues. And keep listening to the sounds arising from the hills. Take care. Catch you later.